There are shades of Greek mythology here. And I'm not thinking just the idea of pathos and hubris. I'm also thinking quite literally of Stephen Fry's retake on Greek mythology and how he was very keen to talk about the fact that Pandora never opened a box or never opened a package. It was some sort of jar. Well, in this case, Pandora was fiddling around. Pandora was probing into Quasi's package, and she's distributed all manner of ill. What one hopes is that one hopes there is some hope left in that package. But I don't think there's very much. I really think we're scraping the barrel. We're mixing so many metaphors here. But today, this evening, Channel 4 have run a number of interviews with Conservative backbenchers, people like Stephen Hammond and Simon Hoare. Simon Hoare was more guarded, of course, than Stephen Hammond. That's probably what you would expect. Simon Hoare said, if there's to be a change, if we have to see how best it is effected, how best it is done. Stephen Hammond barely said if. Stephen Hammond seems quite sure that there will be a change. I think it is inevitable, and I think the decision has already been taken. And Liz Truss has been told to remain in place and to keep her mouth shut. The less damage she does at this stage, the better, because the difficult decisions have to be taken by the grown-ups, and hope needs to be established. But that's going to be at an incredibly tough cost. So Stephen Hammond was saying we have to regain our reputation for competence. I think that's gone. But maybe if there's enough time and if there's some luck, and I think the international situation is unlikely to give the Conservative Party much luck or much leeway, but if there is some luck, maybe the Conservative Party can emerge after the next election as a credible opposition and maybe even crawl back into power. I think it's highly unlikely. I think there are options. Maybe now is the time to think seriously about the value of the first past the post system. Maybe. But I was saying a few minutes ago, there's so much whispering going on about people who are saying that Liz Truss is not in control, that Hunt is not in control, and that really only leaves a very small number of people who could be in control. And Penny Mordaunt, I think, is a candidate who could command some sort of control, but she's not known. And her effort yesterday evening to establish herself yesterday lunchtime, to establish herself as a serious figure at the dispatch box backfired because, in the end, she came across as nasty. Rishi Sunak's silence speaks words. And I strongly suspect Rishi Sunak has had a visit from Graham Brady, and a deal has been done that will probably see him in some form of power. It may indeed be some sort of power sharing with somebody else. I would love to see Hunt remain as Chancellor, but I think that's highly unlikely. Hunt is there to do the dirty. when Hunt's job is done, he will be moved on. He has very little credibility. Hunt is a reliable, safe pair of hands who can be trusted to deliver all the nastiness, and then, if necessary, he's got the broad enough shoulders to take that on. Because he's had enough in his career. He doesn't have his eye, or I think he would have been told that the chances of him having the top job are 0. But at the moment, he can bask in the illusion that he is Prime Minister in all but name. Of course, I don't think that's true. And the chatter is beginning to suggest that that's right. The question of who is pulling strings probably will never be fully known, but we will know far more tomorrow when and if Liz Truss appears at the dispatch box to face Keir Starmer. I have no idea how she's going to wriggle out of the inevitable questions that Keir Starmer is going to ask, but at least whoever is preparing her will know exactly what Keir Starmer will say, because he's got a limited number of questions, and there's a limited number of very, very big questions that need answering. Keir Starmer can't avoid those questions, and if Liz Truss is there to answer, she cannot avoid answering those questions in some form, or at least producing some sort of formula that will get her off the hook and allow her to redirect attention, but it's not going to be a happy experience.